Okay, I am trying for semi-functional lighting. I got ousted from the living room by a children. So happy Tuesday. It's been an exciting day. So the thing I am most happy about today is that the Veep Stakes is over. As an independent, it's sort of interesting to watch the parties sort of infight and argue about the candidates. I don't get emotionally attached to anyone because I have no say. So this is a little wiggly. I apologize. This is actually on a ginormous stack of pillows because that was my best option. So if it wiggles, I apologize today. If you have any questions, make sure to type them in the live chat. I will get to them as quickly as I can. There is a lag between typing in and them showing up, just so you're aware. So a vice presidential pick was listed, and now there is a set ticket essentially for both Democrats and Republicans. As a reminder, Maine has ranked choice voting in the presidential election. I'm not even subtle that I don't think that our current president is qualified for office, and I will not be ranking him, but there's probably going to be several choices. I invite you to rank as you see fit. Please take advantage of ranked choice voting. If your heart is elsewhere, it's fine to rank somebody else first. If they don't prevail, what will happen is, the votes will essentially flow to them if there's nobody that gets 50%. And if you're voting for somebody other than the most popular candidate, as long as you and they together keep the other person below 50%, then you didn't have any negative impact at all on the race. We learned that in 2018. So this is an excellent opportunity this year to show how ranked choice voting works, because Maine has it in all the federal races. So president, both House races, Senate race, both House races only have 2 candidates, it looks like, so they won't be employing ranked choice voting, but the Senate race and the presidential race will have more than 2 candidates available. My candidacy is still at this point in time in litigation, so moms have backup plans. Our backup plan at this point in time is to go with write-in, which actually kind of makes it more fun. So we get to run a very rogue campaign, and there is going to be a lot of money flying about. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about Maine raising, and tell her unless there's questions. So we have a really, truly phenomenal and fun opportunity in the state of Maine in our election. Because of ranked choice voting, we have the ability to say, you know what, we're going to either, vote for Tiffany if I'm on the ballot. If I'm not, we're going to write in Tiffany Bond. And we get to tell people, anyone, anywhere can tell people how to do this with a Maine raising. And if what we are trying to do is suck all the money that is being wasted on just crap out of politics, we can do that in this race. So if I am to prevail and, Maine raising takes off and we win, what we've done is we've actually changed national politics. And it won't take that much. So in a lot of campaign cycles, you often will see a front runner with maybe 100,000 individual donors. 100,000 individual Maine raisings would probably give me a win. So we have this great kind of rogue, fun, interactive way to say, like, let's change how politics works. Let's absolutely fundamentally alter this dynamic. And so I'm really excited about that, because it's something that I think you'll see. The VP pick was Kamala Harris. Again, I'm sort of I don't know if the word's indifferent or neutral. I had no say over the pick because I'm not a Democrat. I had no say over the candidate that's chosen for their presidential candidate because I'm not a Democrat, and that's fine. They have a party, and I don't know that I'm entitled to select who goes forward. But there's going to be a lot of people who are happy or unhappy about that. This is a great place to channel that energy. I think it is more productive, and I kind of got into it a couple times on Twitter this week with people. It is more productive to take somebody who disagrees with you on a candidate, and instead of saying, well, if you don't vote for my candidate, then you're just a fascist. I think that we do have fascism foot. I think that it is serious, but I think that the people who are going to argue with that are also not going to take it very seriously. And so a better way to channel that energy is to say, you know what? We don't agree on this, but here is something that we do agree on. Here's this great, cool, fun way to get money out of politics and kind of go with this rogue candidate that says, we're going to, instead of burn the whole system down and destroy it, let's convert the whole system with kindness. So we have that opportunity here. And I really encourage all of my followers, instead of getting into long, dramatic fights over whether or not somebody is a fascist, if they agree or disagree with presidential pick, or they want to take a side in that you don't agree with. Let's try and channel that energy into a place where people feel like they really have a say. And that's my campaign, but that's also, there's several campaigns across the country that are pushing ranked choice voting. If what we want is to feel like we are politically invested and listened to, let's find some very productive outlets to do that. So channel people into my campaign, channel people into ranked choice voting generally. Let's find spaces where people who are frustrated with the system and don't like the two parties can start to make a place where they make a difference in a positive way that's not ripping us apart so much. And that's one of the things that I really think that this campaign can do that maybe a lot of other campaigns can't do. Just a few minutes ago, I was arguing with somebody over whether or not, I had said something that made their candidate, they felt it painted their candidate in a bad light. Candidates, we take criticism. Will I argue back over things like overt misogyny? Of course I will. But, if we want to talk about policy, there are multiple policy points of view, and it's fine to argue policy, and it's fine to criticize policy. I expect my policy positions to be criticized, and I would be disappointed if every single person agreed with me on every single thing. I want more diverse thought than that, and any candidate should have that. Any candidate should be willing to engage on questions of policy at any point in time, and it is okay and healthy to do that. So I don't want you to take away from this that you shouldn't criticize candidates or policy. Absolutely you should. And if we ever reach a point where you cannot criticize candidates or policy, close up shop. Democracy is done. So as you're going forward this week, please do me a favor and see what you can do when you're interacting with people. If you find people with whom you don't agree, look for areas where you do agree. I think one that most people are in agreement is, let's figure out how to get this money out of politics. And again, pushing people towards ranked choice voting, pushing people towards campaigns like mine that are ranked choice voting races, where we can say, hey, you know what? It's okay to disagree on policy. And it's okay to have multiple favorites. It's okay to not have just one person that you agree with. It's okay to have a favorite that you disagree with policy. Some people, where I'm their favorite candidate, we disagree on lots of policy, and they like that openness to dialogue. So let's start channeling our conversations and our frustration and our stress and how overwhelming a lot of the negative stuff is about this year into things we can change, which is look for ranked choice voting initiatives to support. Support them for free. You can retweet, you can put on Facebook, you can help write postcards. There's a whole bunch of very inexpensive things. And then find campaigns like mine. Maine is unique in that it has ranked choice voting on a federal level. I am not the only candidate. You might find that maybe you're a much more conservative person and you like Max Linn and you want to channel your energy that way. That's a perfectly reasonable way to channel that energy. Certainly more productive than bickering, and you're probably not going to bring a lot of people along to your side with bickering. If you really prefer Greens, if you are anywhere across the country, we have a Green in this race, and it's probably the only race in the country where you can say, you know what, there is somebody who's a Green Party, and I want ranked choice voting, and I want to be able to voice my support, full throttle for somebody who is perhaps quite a bit to the left of the Democratic Party. And I want that, and I want to do that with no harm. This is a great race for that. I would hope that enough of you would consider supporting my campaign, but there are lots of other ways you can do that in this specific race. And then again, look for ranked choice voting initiatives or alternative voting model initiatives across the country, because right now the plurality voting that we have is pushing us into a space where we argue the most with the people that we most agree with. And that is not a healthy democracy. We should be able to take fairly similar points of view, fairly similar policy, and say, hey, you know, you believe in a more graduated version of addressing climate change. I agree with a more more focused on efficacy based on time limits the data say that we have left to address this model. Let's talk about that. We may not meet in the middle, we may not meet at all, but we should be able to have that conversation without one person turning to the other and going, oh, I can't stand you. You know, you're just out to ruin it for X candidate because they don't agree with you perfectly. So what I hope you take away from this today is let's work on turning that conflict into productive energy, and let's make sure that we can still have those conversations about policy. So if you have any questions for me, you can always find me online. I may not be there immediately, but you can leave me a message and I will do my best to address that. I will be back on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. early for Breakfast with Tiffany. And if you need anything else, again, go to the website, find me on Twitter, let's connect. And today is a donor match with Donors Choose. So if you are inclined to do a Maine raising that helps a teacher, there are some great projects out there. Please consider supporting Maine teachers. Please consider supporting Maine businesses. If you don't know what Maine raising is, go online. It's right on my website, right on the front page. There's a link to it. So thank you so much, and I will see you back Saturday at 8.